My brother Derek and I used to be close. Growing up, we shared a room, traded secrets, and always had each other's backs. So when he called me 3 months ago, voice shaking as he explained how his family lost their house due to a financial crisis, I did not hesitate. "Come stay with me," I said. "I have got space." I felt good about it, proud, even knowing I could help my older brother when he needed me most. I thought I was doing the right thing. I had no idea that kindness would turn my home into a nightmare and make me the villain in my own family's eyes. Before I dive into what happened next, I would love to know, where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. If you have ever felt torn between helping family and protecting your own peace, hit that like button. And subscribe, because this story gets worse before it gets better. Trust me, you will want to hear how this ended. Let me take you back to the day they arrived. It was a Saturday morning in early September when Derek pulled up to my house in Portland, Oregon. I had bought this 3-bedroom place 5 years ago after grinding through long hours as a software engineer. The house was my sanctuary, clean lines, minimal clutter, everything organized just how I liked it. I had spent the previous week preparing the guest bedroom for Derek, his wife Jenna, and their 2 kids, Lily and Max. The guest bathroom was stocked with fresh towels, new soap, everything they would need. My master bathroom, I figured, would remain mine. A simple boundary that seemed obvious. When their minivan pulled into my driveway, it was packed to the roof with boxes and bags. Derek climbed out first, looking worn down in a way I had never seen before. His shoulders sagged, and when he hugged me, he held on a second too long. Jenna emerged, next, her expression tight and distant. She barely made eye contact as she mumbled a thank you. 8-year-old Lily and 5-year-old Max stumbled out looking exhausted and cranky from the drive. I smiled and waved, trying to project warmth despite the tension I could already feel hanging in the air. We spent the afternoon hauling their belongings inside. I showed them the guest bedroom, spacious, with a queen bed and a twin mattress on the floor for the kids. The guest bathroom was right across the hall. I pointed it out clearly. "This is yours to use," I said. Jenna nodded, but said nothing. Derek thanked me repeatedly, almost obsessively, like he was trying to apologize for something that had not happened yet. I brushed it off. They were stressed, I told myself. Anyone would be. That evening I cooked dinner. Spaghetti and meatballs, something simple the kids would eat. We sat around my dining table, and for a moment it felt almost normal. Derek asked about my work. I asked about their plans for finding a new place. Jenna stayed quiet, picking at her food. Lily spilled juice on the table, and Max whined about being tired. It was chaotic, sure, but I could handle chaos. It was temporary, I reminded myself. They would get back on their feet, and life would return to normal. After dinner, I noticed Jenna carrying a large tote bag into both bathrooms. I caught a glimpse of personal items, makeup, hygiene products. I figured she was just getting settled. No big deal. I went to bed that night, feeling good about myself, like I was living up to some ideal of family loyalty. I had no idea what I was in for. The first week passed in a blur of adjustments. The house felt smaller, suddenly crowded with voices and footsteps at all hours. Lily and Max ran through the hallways, their laughter mixing with shouts and occasional tears. Derek tried to keep them quiet, but Jenna seemed checked out, spending most of her time in the guest bedroom with the door closed. I gave them space. They were going through a hard time. By the end of that first week, I started noticing things. The guest bathroom had developed a strange smell, something metallic and stale. I walked past one afternoon and saw the door half open. Curiosity got the better of me, and I glanced inside. The bathtub had dried reddish-brown streaks running down the porcelain. Tissues dotted the counter, some of them stained. The trash can overflowed with wadded paper and other items I did not want to look at too closely. The smell hit me then, thick and unpleasant. I stood there for a moment processing. Maybe Jenna was dealing with a health issue. I did not want to pry or embarrass her. I found Derek in the living room and pulled him aside. "Hey," I said, keeping my voice low and casual. "Can you ask Jenna to clean up the bathroom a bit? It is getting kind of messy." Derek's face flushed. "Oh man, I am sorry," he said quickly. "She has been dealing with some health stuff. I will talk to her." I nodded, relieved. Problem solved, I thought. Except it was not solved. A few days later, I walked past the guest bathroom again, and it looked worse. Used sanitary products sat unwrapped in the trash can, visible to anyone who walked by. The counter was cluttered with blood-stained cotton balls and tissues. The smell had intensified. I felt my stomach turn. This was not just messy. This was unsanitary. I could not wait for them to clean it. I grabbed bleach disinfectant spray rubber gloves. I scrubbed that bathroom for an hour, gagging more than once. As I worked, I tried to rationalize it. Maybe she really was going through something serious. Maybe I was being too judgmental. Family helps family, I kept telling myself. But deep down, a small voice whispered that something was off. 3 weeks in, I crossed a line I never thought I would have to draw. I woke up one Tuesday morning and walked into my master bathroom, the one space in the house that was supposed to be mine alone. I froze in the doorway. There in my trash can were used sanitary products that clearly did not belong to me. My white towels, the ones I had just washed, had streaks of dried blood on them. Personal hygiene items I did not recognize cluttered my counter. Long strands of hair clogged the shower drain. My hands started shaking. This was not an accident. This was deliberate. I stormed out of the bathroom and found Jenna in the kitchen pouring coffee. I tried to keep my voice steady. "Jenna," I said, "I found some of your things in my bathroom. The guest bathroom is for you guys to use. My bathroom is private." She looked at me with an expression I could not quite read. "Oh," she said flatly. "The kids were using the guest bathroom. I just needed to freshen up quickly." I took a breath. "I understand, but please keep your items in the guest bathroom. And please dispose of things properly." Her eyes narrowed. "Fine," she said, her tone cold. "I did not know you were so uptight about it." She turned and walked away, leaving me standing there, feeling like I had done something wrong. Derek found me later and apologized on her behalf. I told him it was okay, but I did not feel okay. I felt violated. That night, I spent another hour cleaning my bathroom, scrubbing away every trace of the intrusion. As I worked, I wondered if I was being unreasonable. Was I a bad host? Was I making too big a deal out of this? But no matter how much I tried to talk myself down, I could not shake the feeling that my boundaries were being trampled. By the 4th week, I realized this was not going to stop. The biohazard situation, as I had started calling it in my head, was escalating. I would find used sanitary products left unwrapped on counters in both bathrooms now. My white towels, which I had replaced twice, already kept getting stained with blood. I discovered dirty underwear in my hamper. The shower walls in my master bathroom had dried blood streaks that I had to scrape off with a sponge. Tissue clung to the rim of my toilet bowl, and the metallic smell permeated both bathrooms no matter how much air freshener I used. I started documenting everything. I felt ridiculous doing it, like I was gathering evidence for a crime scene, but I needed proof that I was not overreacting. I took photos on my phone date, stamped each one, and kept a written log of every incident. I approached Derek multiple times. "Dude, I would say this is getting out of hand." He would apologize, promise to talk to Jenna, but nothing changed. He started avoiding eye contact with me, and I realized he was ashamed but unwilling to confront his wife. The situation was affecting every part of my life. I stopped inviting friends over. I could not risk anyone seeing the state of my bathrooms. Every morning before work, I spent 30 minutes cleaning, scrubbing away the evidence of the previous night. I was burning through cleaning supplies at an alarming rate. I had spent over $200 on bleach disinfectant gloves and new towels in just a month. My sleep suffered. I would lie awake at night, dreading what I would find in the morning. At work, I was distracted, irritable. My boss noticed. Graham, you okay? She asked one afternoon. You seem off lately. I am fine, I lied. Just dealing with some family stuff. In the 6th week, my mother decided to host a family dinner at my house. Patricia loved bringing everyone together, and she was so proud of me for taking in Derek and his family. You are such a good brother, she kept saying. I smiled and nodded, but inside, I was panicking. The house was a disaster. I spent hours before everyone arrived, deep cleaning both bathrooms, stashing away evidence, trying to make everything look normal. Uncle Tom showed up with my cousins, Sarah and her husband. Aunts and uncles filled the living room. Derek and Jenna played the role of grateful houseguests perfectly. Jenna even helped me set the table, smiling and chatting with everyone like she was the model sister-in-law. I felt like I was going crazy. Was I imagining everything? During dinner, my mother raised her glass. To Graham, she said, for opening his home and his heart. Everyone clinked glasses. I forced a smile. Then, Sarah asked to use the bathroom. She headed toward the guest bathroom while I was in the kitchen. Seconds later, I heard a scream. Everyone rushed over. Sarah stood in the doorway, her hand over her mouth, her face pale. "What happened in here?" she said, her voice shaking. I pushed through the crowd and looked inside. It was bad, worse than I had ever seen it. Blood-stained towels were draped over the shower rod. Used sanitary products littered the counter unwrapped and exposed. The smell was overwhelming. Jenna appeared instantly, her eyes wide. "Oh my God," she said, her voice breaking. "I am so sorry. I have been dealing with some medical issues. It is so embarrassing." Tears welled in her eyes. My mother turned to me, her expression disappointed. "Graham," she said quietly, "why did you not help her clean up? She is clearly going through something." I stood there stunned. "I have been cleaning every day," I said. "I have asked her multiple times." Jenna shook her head, wiping at her tears. "I try my best," she said. "I am dealing with a lot. I did not think it was that bad." After everyone left, my mother pulled me aside. "She is family," Patricia said firmly. "Be more understanding." I felt like I was losing my mind. Did they not see what I had been dealing with? Did they not smell what I smelled? Derek said nothing. He would not even look at me. I went to bed that night, feeling completely alone, like I was the villain in a story I did not write. The final straw came the next morning. I woke up early, exhausted from another sleepless night, and walked into my master bathroom. What I saw made my stomach drop. The bathtub was filled with pinkish water remnants of a bath someone had taken and not drained. Used sanitary products floated in the water. Blood was smeared across the mirror. My toothbrush sat in a pool of blood-tinged water on the counter. Dirty clothes were piled in the corner. The toilet was unflushed, filled with waste and blood. I felt bile rise in my throat. I stumbled to the sink and vomited. My hands shook as I gripped the edge of the counter. This was not just disrespectful. This was dangerous. This was a biohazard. I pulled out my phone with trembling fingers and took photos, then videos. Then I started researching. I Googled biohazard in home and health risks, bloodborne pathogens. What I read terrified me. Hepatitis HIV, if there were open wounds, bacterial infections. Improperly disposed biomedical waste was a serious health hazard. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the photos on my phone. Clarity washed over me like cold water. She was doing this on purpose. This was not about medical issues. This was about power, about disrespect, about seeing how far she could push me. And I had let it happen. I had been so afraid of being the bad guy, so desperate to be the supportive brother, that I had let them destroy my home and my sanity. Not anymore. I stood up, my jaw set. They had to leave. Today. I took the morning off work and spent it preparing. I printed out every photo I had taken, organized them into a folder. I pulled up Oregon tenant laws on my laptop. Since Derek and Jenna were not paying rent and had no formal lease, they were not legal tenants. I could ask them to leave. I gathered receipts for all the cleaning supplies I had purchased, over $300 worth. I screenshot every text message where I had asked them to clean up every ignored request. I was not going into this unprepared. At noon, I called Derek and Jenna into the living room. The kids were watching cartoons in the guest bedroom, distracted. I sat across from them, the folder of evidence on the coffee table between us. Derek looked nervous. Jenna looked annoyed. I took a breath and began. "I need you to look at these photos," I said, sliding the folder across the table. Jenna opened it, and her face went pale. Derek flipped through his expression, growing more horrified with each image. "This is what I found in my bathroom this morning," I said, keeping my voice calm and firm. Again, "I have asked multiple times for basic hygiene and respect. You have ignored me every single time." Jenna's shock quickly turned defensive. "I told you I have medical issues," she snapped. "You are being insensitive." I shook my head. "Medical issues do not excuse biohazard conditions," I said. "I researched this. What you are leaving behind is dangerous. It is a health risk. Blood-borne pathogens. Bacterial infections. This is not me being uptight. This is me protecting myself." Derek tried to mediate. "Graham, come on," he said weakly. "We are family." I cut him off. "Family does not disrespect each other like this. I have been patient. I have been kind. I have cleaned up after you for 7 weeks. I have spent hundreds of dollars on supplies. I have lost sleep. I have been humiliated in front of my own family. No more." The room went silent. Jenna stared at me, her jaw tight. Derek looked at the floor. "I am giving you 7 days to find another place," I said. "That is more than generous." Jenna's eyes widened. "You are kicking us out," she said, her voice rising. "We have nowhere to go. What about your niece and nephew?" I felt a pang of guilt, but I pushed it down. "You should have thought about that before you destroyed my home," I said. "I have all the documentation. You are not legal tenants. You pay no rent. You can leave peacefully, or I can pursue legal action for property damage." Derek finally looked up. "You would really do this to your own brother?" he asked, his voice hollow. I met his eyes. "You would really let your wife treat me like this?" I replied. Neither of them had an answer. Jenna stood up and stormed out of the room. Derek sat there for another moment, then followed her. I sat alone in the living room, my heart pounding. I felt powerful and sad at the same time. I had finally stood up for myself, but it had cost me my relationship with my brother. That evening, Derek called my mother. I could hear his voice through the walls, painting me as the villain. Within an hour, my phone started blowing up. Text messages flooded in. My mother called furious. "How could you do this to your brother?" she demanded. "Mom," I said, trying to stay calm. "Did he tell you what they have been doing?" "They are going through hard times," she said. "You have space. You have no idea what I have been dealing with," I said, but she had already hung up. The family group chat exploded. Derek posted a vague message about how I was evicting them over nothing, asking for prayers. Messages poured in from uncles, aunts, cousins. "Disappointed in you, Graham. Family helps family. You are being cruel." Jenna took to Facebook, posting something vague but pointed. "When you help someone and they turn on you in your time of need," she wrote, followed by a broken heart emoji. I watched it all unfold on my phone screen, feeling the weight of their judgment. But I did not respond. Not yet. I saved every message, every comment. I was learning to be strategic. The next few days were tense. Derek and Jenna moved slowly, dragging their feet, hoping I would change my mind. I did not. I kept the deadline firm, 7 days. Not negotiable. They tried guilt trips. "Think of the kids," Jenna said. "I am thinking of myself for once," I replied. Derek tried the brotherly bond angle. "We used to have each other's backs," he said. "You stopped having mine the moment you let this happen," I answered. On the 5th day, my mother called again. She demanded a family meeting at her house. I agreed, but I came prepared. I brought the printed photo album, now expanded with more images. I brought the receipts, the timeline of incidents, the screenshots. I brought printouts of articles about health risks from Biohazards. I was not going to be gaslit again. When I arrived at my mother's house, the living room was full. Uncle Tom, Sarah, and her husband, a few aunts and uncles. Derek and Jenna sat on the couch, looking like martyrs. My mother stood in the center, arms crossed. "Graham," she said sternly, "explain yourself." I set my folder on the coffee table. "I will," I said. "But first, I need everyone to look at something." I passed around the photo album. I watched their faces change as they flipped through the pages. Shock, disgust, disbelief. Uncle Tom, who had sent me a disappointed text just days earlier, stared at one particularly graphic photo and shook his head. "This is unacceptable," he muttered. Sarah, who had witnessed the dinner party bathroom incident, nodded. "I tried to tell you guys," she said. "It was horrible." I laid out the receipts next. $347 spent on cleaning supplies in 7 weeks, I said. Then I showed the screenshots. I asked 12 times for them to clean up, ignored every single time. Finally, I explained the health risks, reading directly from medical websites I had printed. "This is not about being uptight," I said. "This is about safety, about not living in a biohazard zone in my own home." The room was silent. My mother looked at Derek, her expression a mixture of disappointment and confusion. "Derek," she said quietly, "is this true?" Derek opened his mouth, then closed it. "It was not that bad," he finally said, but his voice lacked conviction. I held up my phone, showing a video I had taken of the bathtub filled with bloody water. "The photos do not lie," I said. Jenna, who had been silent until now, stood up. "You are humiliating me," she hissed. I looked at her calmly. "You humiliated yourself," I said. "I just documented the truth." Uncle Tom set the photo album down. "Graham," he said, his tone apologetic. "You had every right to ask them to leave. I am sorry we judged you without knowing the full story." One by one, other family members echoed his sentiment. My mother sat down heavily, looking older suddenly. "Graham," she said softly, "I am sorry. I did not know. I should have listened to you." Derek and Jenna left, without another word, taking the kids with them. The door closed behind them, and I felt a strange mixture of relief and sadness. I had been vindicated, but at what cost? My mother hugged me before I left. "I am proud of you for standing up for yourself," she said. "It should not have come to this." "I know," I said. But it did. The week after they moved out, I hired a professional biohazard cleaning service. It cost me $600, but it was worth every penny. They scrubbed, disinfected, and sanitized every surface in both bathrooms. I replaced all the towels, spending another $200. New shower curtains, bath mats, even a toothbrush holder that I could not stand to look at anymore. Some of the tile grout in the guest bathroom was stained beyond repair, so I repainted the entire room. When I added it all up, the total cost of the cleanup was around $1,500. But when it was done, and I walked through my house, I felt like I could breathe again. That first night alone, I sat on my couch with a beer looking around my living room. The silence was not empty. It was peaceful. I invited my friend Marcus over the next evening, something I had not been able to do in weeks. "Man," he said, looking around, "your house feels like yours again." "It does," I agreed. Marcus did not know the half of what I had been through, but he could sense the shift. "You seem lighter," he said. "I am," I replied. "I changed the locks just to be safe. I also made a decision. If I ever helped family again, there would be rules in writing, clear boundaries, consequences. I was not going to be taken advantage of again. Setting boundaries did not make me cruel. It made me sane." 3 weeks later, Derek texted me. "Can we talk?" it said. I stared at the message for a long time before responding. "Sure." We met at a coffee shop downtown Neutral Territory. Derek looked thinner, tired. "I am sorry," he said as soon as we sat down. "I should have stood up for you. I was scared of how Jenna would react, but that is no excuse." I nodded. "You chose her over doing what was right," I said. "That hurt more than anything she did." "I know," Derek said. "We are in counseling now. She is getting help for control issues, anger management. The therapist says she has been struggling with some deep stuff." "I hope it helps," I said honestly. "But I need time." Derek understood. We did not hug when we parted, but we shook hands. It was a start, even if it felt distant. I started going to therapy myself, working through my own issues with boundaries and people-pleasing. My therapist helped me understand that saying no is a complete sentence, that kindness without boundaries is just self-destruction, that respecting myself has to come before respecting others. I joined a support group for people dealing with family conflict. Hearing other people's stories made me feel less alone. I was not crazy. I was not the villain. I was someone who had finally learned to protect his peace. My mother visited a few weeks later. She brought flowers and an apology. "I should have listened to you," she said, sitting in my kitchen. "I was so focused on helping Derek that I ignored how much you were suffering. That was wrong." I forgave her. Our relationship actually improved after that. We were more honest with each other, less focused on keeping up appearances. She told me she was proud of me, and this time I believed her. 6 months have passed now. My home is beautiful and peaceful again. I started dating someone, a woman named Lisa, who I met through friends. She came over for dinner last week, and I did not have to worry about what she might find in the bathroom. My career is thriving. I got a promotion at work, partly because I was no longer distracted and exhausted. My relationship with Derek is slowly rebuilding. We meet for coffee once a month. It is not like it used to be, and maybe it never will be. But it is civil, and there is a cautious respect between us now. I heard through my mother that Derek and Jenna separated. I did not ask for details. Last Sunday, I sat in my living room with a cup of coffee looking around at my space. Everything was clean, organized, mine. I thought about the past 7 months, how 7 weeks of hell had taught me more about myself than I had learned in years. Standing up for myself had felt impossible in the moment, but looking back, waiting 7 weeks was 7 weeks too long. I learned that kindness without boundaries is self-destruction, that you can help someone without sacrificing your own well-being. I learned that documentation saves you, that the truth is your strongest defense when people try to rewrite history. Most importantly, I learned that family does not excuse disrespect. Blood relation does not give anyone the right to treat you poorly, to invade your space, to ignore your basic requests for decency. And standing up for yourself is not selfish. For years, I thought being nice meant saying yes to everything, absorbing every burden, never complaining. I was wrong. Real kindness includes kindness to yourself. I do not know if Derek and I will ever be as close as we were when we were kids, sharing a room and trading secrets. Maybe that is okay. Maybe some relationships change so we can grow. Maybe the brother who let me down taught me the most valuable lesson of all that I am worth standing up for. My home is mine again. My peace is mine again. And that villain they called me, I am learning to see him as the hero of my own story, the one who finally said enough. Sometimes the hardest thing you will ever do is choose yourself. But sometimes it is the only choice that makes sense. So let me ask you, have you ever had to choose between helping someone and protecting your own peace? How did you handle it? Drop your answer in the comments. I would love to hear your stories. If this resonated with you, hit that like button and share this video with someone who might need to hear it. And do not forget to subscribe for more real-life stories about boundaries, family, and finding your way back to yourself. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it reminds you that your peace matters, your boundaries matter, and you are never wrong for protecting what is yours. Take care of yourselves out there, and remember, sometimes choosing yourself is the bravest thing you can do.